They don't want your honesty, they want your obedience. They want to see you bend, not because they need your apology, but because it confirms their dominance. The moment you say, "I'm sorry," they don't relax. They rise. They see it as confirmation, proof that you're willing to step down, that you fear being outcast more than you crave self-respect. And the moment they sense that, the game changes. It's no longer about right or wrong. It's about control. You've handed them the script, and they're rewriting it in real time, casting you as the villain, the failure, the fool who surrendered his dignity for a false peace. You think you're being noble. You think you're clearing the air, but they're not breathing easier. They're inhaling your weakness. They won't forgive you, not truly. They'll perform it, maybe, smile politely, nod as if they've accepted your contrition. But behind that mask is a ledger, a record, and your apology. It's the ink that stains the page. One day, maybe tomorrow, maybe years from now, they'll read from it, quote it, use your words, your regret, as ammunition. Not just to remind you of your fall, but to remind everyone else that you did fall. And once that story is told often enough, it becomes the truth, not your truth, theirs, and you're no longer the author of your life. You're just a character in their narrative, tragic, weak, defeated. You apologize to heal, they remember to harm. This is the cruel truth. Public forgiveness is a fantasy. People remember, they don't erase, they archive. They catalog your errors, index your confessions, and wait for the perfect moment to resurrect your shame. They don't do it to hurt you. They do it to elevate themselves. In the hierarchy of perception, someone must kneel for another to stand tall. And they will ensure it's you, again and again, until kneeling becomes your default posture, until you apologize before the offense is even named. They say apology is strength, that it takes courage to admit fault. But what they don't tell you is this: apology without strategy is surrender. You've seen it, you've felt it. You apologize hoping for resolution, and what do you get? Silence, or worse, retaliation. You lower your guard, they raise their demands. You speak softly, they shout louder. It doesn't end the battle, it escalates it, because the moment you shrink, they believe they can expand. That's not reconciliation, that's conquest. You didn't solve the conflict. You sign the terms of your own defeat. This is the world, not the one we're told exists, but the one we walk through every day. Power doesn't reward guilt, it punishes it. When you display remorse without leverage, without calculation, you become prey. Not because you're wrong, but because you're exposed. You think you're de-escalating, they see you retreating. You think you're being transparent, they see a crack, and where there's a crack, there's an entry point. Once they've stepped inside your mind, your reputation, your frame, getting them out is almost impossible. Understand this: in a world ruled by perception, your actions are less important than how they're interpreted. You may have done nothing wrong, but your apology will be taken as proof that you did. And from that moment forward, every word you speak, every choice you make, is filtered through the lens of guilt. You lose control of the frame, and once you lose that, you lose everything, not because you're incapable of apology, but because you understand its weight. You understand that when used carelessly, it binds you. But when used with precision, it can liberate you. A well-timed, well-framed apology is not submission. It's strategy, it's a tool, a weapon, and like any weapon, its power lies in how and when it's used. You don't pull it out to appease. You use it to manipulate the field, to reset the board when you're 5 steps ahead, not when you're cornered. An apology, when used tactfully, does not say "I was wrong." It says "I'm in control of the narrative." It reframes. It disarms. It creates an illusion of humility while masking your recalibration. It's not an act of guilt. It's an act of psychological misdirection. You throw them off balance, not by conceding, but by pretending to. You offer them a taste of victory while you redraw the battle lines in silence. This is the art. You never apologize to seek approval. You apologize to gain time, regain position, or distract from a larger move. You apologize not to retreat, but to reload. This isn't cold, it's clear. Coldness implies detachment. This is about engagement. with reality, with perception, with the power dynamics that shape every conversation, every confrontation, every room you enter. You either shape the narrative, or you live in the version they write for you. So when is an apology powerful? When it confuses them, when it shifts their focus, when it throws them off rhythm, when they expect you to fight, and instead you bow lightly, just enough to draw them closer, just enough to let them think they've won. That's when you strike. That's when you redefine the conversation. The apology was never about truth. It was bait, but never overuse it, because repetition breeds expectation. And once they expect it, they demand it. Once they demand it, they control it. And once they control your apology, they control your voice. And a man without his voice is already halfway buried. You've seen those who apologize constantly, every sentence softened, every step taken on eggshells. Their apologies don't build trust, they invite disrespect. Because what people respect is certainty, not perfection certainty. They'd rather follow the one who stands firm and wrong than the one who buckles and right. The moment your default is "I'm sorry," you've taught the world that you're easy to bend, that your principles are flexible, that your dignity is negotiable, and in the game of power that makes you replaceable, you become background, support, the extra in someone else's film. No one fears what always yields. The strongest men don't avoid mistakes. They just never allow those mistakes to define them. They don't confess. They correct. They don't plead. They pivot, because they know that in this world, weakness isn't forgiven. It's fed upon. There will be times, very few, when a sincere strategic apology can buy you more than silence. It can buy you allies. It can rebuild a bridge you might need later. But even then, it's not about remorse. It's about recognition, recognizing who holds value, who might be useful, and knowing that a short-term apology might earn long-term leverage, not because you were wrong, but because you see 10 moves ahead. And sometimes an apology is the price of the next opportunity. Never apologize to silence your conscience. That's not discipline, that's decay. When your emotions govern your speech, you've already lost your kingdom. Control yourself, and the world will assume you control far more. Power respects restraint. You don't owe the world an apology for being decisive, for being direct, for being unapologetically yourself. Let them misunderstand you. Let them speculate. Let them stew in their own narratives. The man who doesn't explain himself commands curiosity. The one who always does invites contempt. Silence is strength. Mystery is leverage. Composure is command. The loudest room quiets for the one who speaks last, not the one who speaks most. Never confuse morality with submission. You can be righteous and relentless. Just because you believe in doing what's right doesn't mean you need to be the one who kneels first. They will try to make you believe that strength is cruelty, that conviction is arrogance, that pride is sin. But they say that only after you've shown it, because your strength threatens their illusion of control. The world fears the unapologetic man, not because he's reckless, but because he cannot be guilt-tripped into submission. Because he won't bend under false virtue, because he won't trade his power for applause. They don't understand him, so they label him toxic, difficult, dangerous, and he smiles because he knows the truth. He's not dangerous to those who stand beside him. He's dangerous to those who try to stand above him. So before you speak, pause. Before you apologize, ask yourself, am I trading peace for power, or power for peace? Because only one of those can be recovered. The man who stands firm, who calculates every word, who understands that apologies are not gifts but gambits. That man will not be loved by all, but he will never be ruled. Let them call you cold, let them call you arrogant. Just don't let them call you weak, because in this world, once they do, they never stop. And if you found value in this lesson, then you're not here by accident. You're one of the few who understands what the rest refuse to admit. Consider the dynamics of a courtroom. The accused who maintains silence, who refuses to plead guilty or innocent, compels the court to prove their case. Similarly, in the court of public opinion, Your silence demands that others substantiate their claims against you. It places the burden of proof on them, not you. This is not about evading responsibility, but about controlling the terms of engagement. Moreover, silence can be a form of resistance. In a world that demands constant explanation and justification, choosing not to apologize can be a radical act of self-preservation. It's a refusal to participate in a cycle that seeks to diminish your agency. By not apologizing, you maintain your autonomy and protect your sense of self. In the realm of leadership, the decision to apologize, or not, must be weighed carefully. An apology can humanize a leader, fostering trust and connection. But it can also expose vulnerabilities and invite scrutiny. The key lies in discerning when an apology serves your objectives and when it undermines them. It's about understanding the power dynamics at play and making calculated choices that align with your goals. Ultimately, the art of apology is not about capitulation, but about communication. It's a tool in your arsenal, one that should be employed judiciously and strategically. Whether you choose to apologize or remain silent, ensure that your decision reinforces your position and advances your interests. In the intricate dance of power, every move counts.